We in it.
know
It's
we were
that
that
You
tasted
Heard
terrible.
podcast, man. You already know what it is, man. Yo, y'all gonna see something on your timeline that doesn't make any sense, and I just want to apologize to
None.
anybody with any kind of intestinal issues, because CB about to have all of them.
tell me what you do to help. tell me how to help.
Pepto-Bismol with a side of Pepsi AC. Hey man, y'all already know what to do, man. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Leave us your reviews, leave us your questions, man. We appreciate all of it. You see we have full strength today, man. Let's cook. Yo, CB, I want to watch the new intro. Let's get it.
Welcome to the You Heard podcast with your hosts, Ben, Joe, and CB. We're here to cover everything related to Miami Hurricanes football, from hot topics to pre- and post-game analysis.
All right,
Okay,
we'll
yeah,
talk
please.
about it at the end. We'll talk about it.
No. Let's talk about that right now, because you completely flipped it on me now.
I hate him for knowing this, bro. This man knew the brand, dog.
Okay, I don't appreciate that. I'm saying, like, I don't
I
appreciate
mean, what did you say? What are we talking about, son?
Get into it. I feel
Keeping it a buck.
You heard?
yeah, man.
That's
That
what
beat go hard. Shout out to
Yeah,
my guy
I like
Ant House,
that a
man. It's my guy, man. It's my guy. Hey, fellas,
Didn't Joe
I'm gonna
tell
keep
you
it a
on the
buck with
last
y'all, man.
episode? Don't tell people who he is. Yeah, you think
I want him to make all the
listen.
paper. Yeah. No, I want my guy to get all the exposure and all the paper he can, man. I do been grinding for a long time, man.
No, that
Salute to my
honestly,
guy,
that
man.
thing is fire though. It really is.
Yeah. I told him, like, yo, give me some Spanish with a little bit of like old New York beat, and he cooked that shit up easy. That just felt like every bodega you ever walk into.
yeah,
York.
that was fire.
You know what I'm saying? All right, man. Look, I'm gonna keep it before we get into the show. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, man. Yo, I missed y'all yesterday, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gave y'all I messed with y'all a lot about not being there, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just
It
being
sucked.
there and like seeing that like my guys weren't there, I was like, oh man, look at everything they're missing. It's so crazy that I get to chop it up with Corey Flagg and Popo Aguirre and, you know what I'm saying,
The
Shivy
humble
Shamar
brag.
and all these guys. You know what I'm saying? And my guys are like, yo, I'm just in North Carolina and I'm in Texas on fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I missed y'all. You know what I'm saying? I got to chop it up with Mario. I got to chop it up with all these guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, that y'all
I'm on fire.
couldn't see at all. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it would have been nice if y'all would have experienced what I experienced. And then I got to get Flanagan's. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guys, man. So it was a good time, man. So how y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all good? Yeah.
Apparently not. Apparently, I'm wallowing in self-pity right now. How you feeling, Joe? How you feeling, bro?
Joe ain't happy.
Did you tell them you knew me at Flanagan's, man?
Yeah, they said you get all the wings. I'm like, yo,
We
that
got
guy
the
just
whole
shows up.
bill off, son. You know what I mean?
Joe, I was talking to Joe when I'm headed there. He's like, yo, I'm about to
Yeah.
call Flanagan's and tell them to close. Tell them to close or cancel your order. You shouldn't be going there without.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
Should've called in
it
a
was
Good,
Good, man. I'm glad you had a good time, man. I'm glad you got to experience that, practice and all that, man.
Yeah, it was dope, man.
It's cute that you get to, go see that. You know what I mean?
Is he,
It's
he
a little,
did the Spider-Man
He
thing
just
to you.
sounds so.
He-
Yeah, he did that.
He did the
so
Spider-Man thing to
condescending.
you.
Like, I don't
Now you know
it's
how
cute.
Spidey
It's
feels
adorable.
on the show.
It's cute. You know what I mean? That I'm
All
glad
right.
you had a
Then
little
again,
cute
then he does-
time. You
then-
know what I mean?
A little, you
No,
see,
oh,
he
trouble.
did a little cute time.
He doubled down and then, you know what? He just cut the book on me.
Hey,
All right.
black folks will
Yeah,
diminish anything you do, and they go do your little podcast.
Did anybody attempt to throw a glizzy at you?
Nah, nobody got crazy.
That happened?
Nobody got
did
crazy.
that?
Nobody got crazy.
Nobody wanted to
got
get
crazy.
power bombed. I told you.
Fam, I was with Ben Pokane. Man, that's a big dude, bro. Like, right into him.
Y'all two big dudes. Somebody
just,
probably had a hot dog in their hand and
Yeah.
saw you and was like, "Damn, Ben bigger than I thought." He put that
Yeah.
shit back in the
Everybody-
bun
everybody
and
saw the
ate that.
shirt.
motherfucker.
You know what? I ain't gonna throw this hot dog. Nah, it was cool, man. It was a cool little experience. My first one ever. look, we'll talk about practice and stuff you know what I'm saying, and all stuff in a second. But it was cool getting time to see the players, man. Like there was like because we forget, like we get to talk about them in a way that like dehumanizes them because they just become players.
Yeah.
But like getting to see Popo and getting interactions, like you seeing Wesley Bassing's face when he saw his mom because I was standing behind her in line was just like all of that stuff. Like, oh, bro, they just regular ass. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, just regular ass people. And just seeing that whole interaction was dope, man. Shout out to Corey Flagg. You know what I'm saying? Asked about the pod. We definitely got to chop it up with him. But yeah, man, it was a dope experience, man. I think I liked that the most. And honestly, man, like I felt like that part was probably the coolest for me because I got to be like a kid again. You know what I mean? Like this is the team that I love since I was 13 years old. So I'm all cool or whatever, like yo, chopping it up with everybody. I'm standing in line alone because everybody else wanted to go to like the receivers and stuff. I wanted to meet Cristobal and the linebackers. I wanted to see if these linebackers were that size, and they were. So seeing that, I was like, all of a sudden I'm getting in the line. I was like, yo, like I'm getting like not emotional, but I'm like, yo, I'm like really enjoying this shit. Like this is like dope as shit that I'm getting to talk to this person, that person, and all this shit. And then I get to Coach Cristobal, and he's just so intense. And I was telling y'all before the show, I was like, holy shit. Like I asked him, hey man, how you doing? I was like, oh, we just gotta get to work, man. We're right there. I'm like, okay. Cool. Thank you. Well, have a good day. I don't know what I'm supposed to say back. That wasn't a response to the question I was asking, but we just gonna walk right off. I didn't know what to say after that. It was cool.
What was hilarious is if you walked off, if he'd have been like, I heard episode 10. Like that's why the response is what it was. I heard episode 10.
I heard talking that shit. Y'all talking that shit?
Okay. I heard you mock me. I heard you mock me when you know what I'm saying, when he tried.
I got about CaneSfest, so as someone who's never been, and for you, obviously, there's a lot of Canes fans who's listening now didn't get to go and have never been. From that perspective, from someone who's never been, can you break down what that's like being there for the first time? Not just obviously getting to talk to Mario, but what the whole weekend was like, because I know, there's people out of state that's probably seeing your experience and going, oh, next year, even me, I'm like, oh, next year, I want to do that. So can you talk about what that's like for a first timer?
Yeah, I definitely recommend it, man. Like, what was cool about this one was that you get to see practice, right? It was basically a spring game again. Me and Joe saw that back in, was that March? Yeah, it was March, right?
April.
So that was cool. March, April, something like that. So it was kind of like that, situational stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they will call penalties a little bit quicker than they normally would, just to put people in conflict. So you're getting to see that, and you're getting to see all these new players. So you're there, like holy shit, and like, but this time you're sitting in Hard Rock Stadium where they really play. So you know what I'm saying? There's probably about 2,000 people there, roughly. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope. We're in the shade. Salute to UM that took the time to figure out which side was in the shade because it was cooking.
That's important.
Cooking, yeah. So I'm getting up there. So you walk in, right? You walk in straight into it. You can't tailgate because it's 8:00 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? People try. Shout out to JD and the whole crew and the whole Metro Rail boys, man. So you walk in, you make a line for a voucher. You could only get it in one line. So I was like, yo, I want to meet the linebackers and it was like linebackers, linebackers, tight ends, special teams, and Cristobal. Like I'm making that line. I want to see the linebackers and tight ends. You know what I'm saying? Got a whole new tight end room. Make the line. You're just standing there with a whole bunch of Canes fans and like kids. And you seeing like what's cool is like seeing young kids, young Canes fans, right? Because a lot of times you know what I'm saying, like we only see people like roughly all around our age. So it was like seeing the next generation. So like the energy starting to build, and all of us that are like all grown ups and kids are like just waiting to meet the players. And then when you get there, like the first person you interact with for me was Raul Popo Aguirre. Biggest shit. You know what I'm saying? Like 18 years old, huge smile on his face, very welcoming. You know what I'm saying? Chopped it up with him, and like getting to be behind Wesley Bassing's mom, I think gave me a different experience than just, you know what I'm saying? Because like when Wesley saw his mom, huge smile, she cracked the joke on him. I told her, I was like, you should tell him that you got to make the line to see your son. You know what I'm saying? She said that to him. He laughed, and I think Corey Flagg laughed, and they all knew her. So I'm gonna go every year. Like not just because of the show, but like it was such a dope experience. Like it had its little issues, but that's just all me being nitpicky with like other shit, like the planning of it and how they should have done things. But I think the practice and the change of time kind of changed everything. But like, so I go through the line, get everybody's signature, then you're getting ready to leave, but there's still players on the other side, which is like the wide receivers and a couple other position groups. And they're like, yeah, man, you could go in line 1 or line 2 if you want to. I was like, okay, I'm going in line 1 because I want to see Shimmy. So you say what's up to him, and got to meet them. Oh, Shimmy Shimon. First thing he said to me goes, bro, this heat is different. I was like, yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No, there was people, like it was crazy. There was players cramping up, right? Because they came right from practice to right upstairs to the cold. So you see Ray getting like work, like getting his legs stretched out because he's cramping up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, like, it was something that I recommend to all Canes fans. Obviously, look, we've been what we've been, right? That we can't go back and change that. But the experience of it, I mean, Joe knows. Joe, you know what I'm saying? Joe got to experience it in different ways with his son and just being a fan. So yeah, I highly recommend it, man. It's just a dope experience. Like just to get that little one-on-one, it changes your perspective where you're like, maybe I gotta be, maybe I have to view this a little differently than just he's supposed to just play that position. He's like, no, this is a person. This is a fucking person. Like I got to chop it up with Kiko. Little quick interactions because you don't want to hold up the line. I was like quick little interactions. KJ Chloe, seeing all these players, like okay, yeah, it was cool. I definitely recommend it, man. 100%. We should all be out there next year.
Nice. Yeah, because I know a lot of people that watch, they watch from everywhere, right? And a lot of people who watch from maybe the middle of the country, even from Texas, where I'm from, you got to pick and choose how many of these you make, how many games you go to. So I know a lot of people, just from on the timeline, just every time you were tweeting, people are like, man, I got to make it there next year, man. So I think even hearing you describe it like that, more people listening to this are going to be like, all right, I'm signing up. I'm going next year. And that's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you have to take the time to like really appreciate what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like really appreciate like what you're seeing because it's like then not just look at it like checking the box. You know what I mean? Like enjoy the fact that like you're never gonna get this moment again. You're never gonna see all these players possibly again with transfer portals and all this shit. Like this is the one time you get to see this team together. But yeah, man.
And a super transitional period too.
So who impressed you?
No doubt.
Let's get to it. Like let's go. Who impressed you on the field?
Oh, number one.
That signal is out.
AJ Allen.
It's out.
All right, we'll talk. Okay. No,
AJ Allen.
Ooh.
Yeah, 100%. 100% AJ Allen.
What number was he?
20.
20.
No.
22 is Fletcher.
Fletcher's 22.
Fletcher. Yeah, which was my number 2. Mark Fletcher and AJ Allen impressed me the most.
Okay.
So we have to look at a situation where like AJ Allen's going against either the 2s or the 3s. You know what I mean? I think it was because him and Fletcher kind of split that time. His vision to be able to bounce it outside consistently and just see that cut. I don't know what he averaged, and Donald talked about on his show. Fam, like 28. He had like a 50-yard run. Yeah, like 20-yard. Like it was quick and decisive. It wasn't like wait, like it was just bam. Like so I want to see him run with the ones. Like I wish they kind of would have done that. Like, let's see what he looks like behind the starting offensive line, not the third string defense and third string O line. Mark Fletcher, monster, bruiser. Don Chaney got in there with a couple good runs, but that's who impressed me the most on the offensive side. Receivers, I don't know how to judge that stuff because I don't know how well they're playing. They didn't really hit like it was like more like pops and stuff like that. I know Jacoby George had a good couple plays, but AJ Allen above everybody impressed me.
What about everybody. Defensively?
Oh, Ruben Bain. Branson Dean impressed me. Yeah, Branson Dean impressed me because again, it was a guy who I was keeping an eye out for the guys I hadn't seen. Ruben Bain was just in the backfield constantly. He was jumping from outside to inside. Akeem Mesidor didn't play, which is why Ruben Bain started. So that tells you Ruben Bain is the second right defensive end, but he also jumped inside a little bit. Kiko impressed me. You know what I'm saying? Like just like his decisiveness. You know what I'm saying? We saw that in the spring game when he bust in the backfield. Jaden Harris again impressed me. Yeah, I mean Shamar Shimmy impressed me, but the I don't know how to say it, but like the quarterback situation with that wasn't as impressive, but his route running and his space that he would get from the corners was I think he was getting covered by Darryl Porter, and he always had a little bit of space, but the ball wasn't always on time. But yeah, number one, those were like my top four performers would have been AJ, Mark Fletcher. I'm pretty sure I was sitting behind his mom because she kept shouting him out and his whole family, so that was cool.
You
Mark
said
Fletcher,
Jacoby
AJ
George
Allen.
a little earlier. You said Jacoby George.
Yeah, Jacoby.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacoby George, man. He had a nice fade for like 25, 30 yards that I don't know how they found that kind of space on the field, and I don't know how that was created. Like if he was in the slot initially, because it looked like he had like 60 yards of space down the sideline, and I don't know how that space was like created. So shout out to Shannon Dawson for creating that, because it was completely thrown on the other side of us. I was like, oh, that ball's out of bounds, right? And it landed. I was like, how's that
that's
possible?
actually one of my favorite concepts too. You run a
switch.
Yeah, like
Could be a switch route.
like kind of like a wheel from the slot.
That's a
You know what I'm talking about,
that's a
Joe?
staple. That's a kind of a staple of spread, like that type of
Yeah,
offense.
where the outside guy will
switch
run
route.
that.
Yeah.
It's that post, but it mirrors a dig until he flattens out, and then the other guy will come out underneath.
Yeah,
It's
'cause it
also a
wasn't
nasty play on NCAA. If you play on NCAA, that wheel gonna be open because most of the time safety gonna bite on that post.
And it was weird because it wasn't like they were on the whole opposite hash. So like that was like that's something different that I hadn't seen. It was like that amount of space created because the ball was up in the air for a minute now. Like it wasn't like it was thrown on the dart. It was like, oh, where's this? Like we're looking at it. Me and Ben are looking at it. I was like, where the fuck is this ball going? Because it just kept going and it landed. You see the ball up in the air for so long. Like that's gonna get picked. But it was a perfectly thrown ball by TVD. So yeah.
That's
It was
actually a
dope, man. It was
difficult
dope.
ball to throw too because you have to throw that. You want to lead him, but you're kind of throwing it across the field, so you need to make sure
Yeah.
you get it up over that safety who is playing that deep third. That's a hell of a throw to make sometimes.
It's a hell of a throw. It was a perfect throw. But yeah, man.
Yeah, you need touch on that thing.
Yeah. What are you gonna say, Joe?
TVD look comfortable in the offense.
Very much so. Yeah. Very
command.
Much so. They try to go. Yeah, command, delivery, threw some really good balls in tight windows. They tried to go deep. I think it was like the first or second play went vertical. It didn't quite connect. It was just a little bit. The timing was a little bit off. Good coverage too, so it had to be a really perfect pass. It was the same kind of things we saw for spring, right? Like really tight coverage, but had to be thrown perfectly. Yeah, he looked really good. Emory looked good. Emory looked really good. Really loud, like really like. I'm pretty sure they're running a 4-minute kind of offense because there was no huddle, so he was sending out the signals. So it was, yeah, it was more than I thought they were going to show, but they didn't show a lot. You know what I mean? Like they didn't go in their bag. There wasn't a lot of motions. It was a lot of just straight up. And if it was motions, it was like Ray. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like he would just get the ball. He'd just run in motion. You know what I mean? And like kind of go out to the flat. So it wasn't like he would break something off from there.
Making space. That's what that is for. That's to clear out a linebacker and make some space. Another dude that I heard a lot about, I believe he played on the second or third team, was a freshman defensive end, Jaden Wayne. Apparently he was a bit unblockable on whatever phase or whatever team they had him against. That man apparently was unblockable. I heard some good things about him and Caleb Spencer and Damari Brown. Did you get to see any of Damari?
Damari started first off.
That's what I was told. That it
was Damari and Devontae, so the brothers were starting. Caleb Spencer had a hit on. I want to say Parrish, or it was either Henry Parrish or Don Chaney that you could hear.
Let's go.
Listen, Caleb Spencer. I was looking at him, and it was funny. It was like I think he's 2-1, right? I think Caleb Spencer is 21 on the defense.
He's 2-1. He was 23
in spring, and he changed. Yeah, so I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, there go Caleb Spencer." I was like, Ben, watch him." that same play, bam, delivered a hit in the backfield. I was like, I told you. Like, you heard that shit. And then the only 2 times we heard hits was that one, because the crowd reacted, and then when Fletcher lit up Markeith for his touchdown run. Yeah, and like you heard it, but you didn't see it because it was like on the complete opposite side, and like the team was there. So those were the 2 hits. But Caleb looks big. Caleb looks big. The young guys, the linebackers, impressive, man. Fam, when they were on the field, they didn't look like freshmen. They looked intense, decisive. I was really impressed with what I saw from them. What did you? I know you guys were, had people in the stadium, obviously watching it from different vantage points. What were you guys hearing? Because it wasn't like everything was being live tweeted or chats or text.
Yeah.
What were you guys hearing about what you guys were seeing? Yeah.
Lord, everything was being tweeted, son. Everything. From the lines, everything. But pretty much I heard what you heard. I guess what you may not have mentioned. I heard Jalen Rivers look much better at tackle than when we saw him in the spring. And the O-line as a whole was more physical in the running game.
Yeah.
Opening holes and everything. In the passing game, I heard there was a lot of pressure from the D-line.
Yeah.
What else? I heard a couple people struggled that we hope can get it together.
Yes. Yep.
We're not going to talk about the struggles.
No.
Pretty much that's it, man. Everything else you heard. I heard Andy hit like a 50-something yard, 60 yard or some madness like that. I don't know.
It almost went over. It almost went over like the net that they put. Like,
I heard it was like room to spare.
Yeah, like it was at the top. It wasn't dropping, fam. It was still going up. Like he booted them out of that ball. It was crazy.
Yeah.
With the hole that you talking about on the O line, right? It came on the right side, Francis and Inez Cooper's side, right? I want to say it was that
okay.
side.
That's what I was about to
get
to.
Fam, like I had a perfect vantage point. Like it goes, like there was all you see was green. Like there was nobody there after the O line. Like I don't know if they got to the second level right away, but me and Ben look at it like, God, like yo, it just goes zoom, and Mark Fletcher just went untouched. I hadn't like there wasn't many tackles for loss. They constantly fell forward, the running backs. I know that was a big issue last year. We couldn't get a yard. It was always 2, 3 or more. But no, it was that should just went. Whew.
Yeah, I heard that was the only thing I was gonna add is that I heard I was told there was a play where Inez Cooper absolutely cleared a running lane. I was told he moved somebody out of the way and was clearing running lanes all day. They said he looks the dude that told me was Cafecito Kane. He's got a YouTube as well. He was talking about the offensive line. Yeah, that's the homie. John, he was I was watching his video and I was just asking him questions about the stuff he was talking about in his video. And he was really complimentary on Cooper. Fletch, obviously. I mean, I think Fletch blew up on Twitter because Fletch was just doing his thing. AJ. Really, really excited to hear that Damari is picking things up as fast as he is. You know, when they first got there, the first person to get some real buzz was Stafford. It looked like the beginning of practice, Stafford was killing it. So it's good to see Damari is getting out there with the ones. Seeing Markeith out there with the ones, and now we know why. But either way, getting the reps is important because if James is going to move around, he needs those reps at the back end with the ones. So that's helpful. Dude, everyone that was there talks about our freshman linebackers. And to me, that's the great takeaway. There isn't a person that is not tweeting about CaneSfest and the practice that is not mentioning who I like to call the Bash Brothers. Bryant, Pulliam, and Popo.
The Bash
Everybody.
Brothers.
If it's not the first tweet, it's the second one. It's
Yep.
everybody got something to say about the Bash Brothers. So that just makes me feel good, man. Other than that, it's basically what you've been echoing. A couple people struggled, of course, and that's gonna happen.
Yep.
Practices are like that. Some people are better when it's really live. Some people need to be hit. You know what I'm saying, to get in the rhythm.
I wasn't a practice guy. You know what I mean? I really wasn't. I wasn't. I didn't like the idea.
Surprised.
Yeah, I didn't like the idea of going against my team because it just feels like unnatural. I don't know. It just felt whack to me. But yeah. There are people.
I played with plenty of dudes that Monday through Thursday, they was all right.
Yeah.
Lights came on.
Yeah,
boys was different. And you just kind of knew that that's the kind of player they were. So with guys that do struggle, keep that in mind. Keep it in mind also that if you are someone that you're playing against all these players since not just spring, but last spring and last practice, they know what you can do and can't do. And they want to look good. So they know how to force you to look uncomfortable, obviously, because they want to shine as a defense or as an offense. So keep that in mind. Like Joe keeps saying, bro, they practicing against each other a lot. Eventually, I know, hey, he don't go to his outside well. If I just keep making him go to his out, no matter if the play tells me to make him go outside or not, I know I got an easier time if I push him to the outside because I know he don't do that well.
Right.
You just learn the tendencies of the people that you're practicing against, and that's why practice can be harmful sometimes, like Joe is saying, because you're really going against your guys constantly, and you're not always sharpening your skills so much as you're exploiting your own teammates' weaknesses to obviously make a play work in practice. So there is that weird line where it's like, okay, somebody's struggling, but that entire defense knows his deficiencies at this point, especially if they've been here more than a year with said player or offensive player. So I just want to put that out there that sometimes some of these dudes need to feel it. They need to hear the crowd. They need to be hit. They need to lower their shoulder. They need to put hands on somebody, and then they turn into different players.
Yeah, because after that first hit, it's over. Like all bets are. It's time to
jitters
go.
Gone, all that gone.
Yeah.
We playing football now. Yeah, we playing football.
Yeah.
Another quick shout out to X, man. He did a pass that he caught a pass that was slightly overthrown that he had to lay out for. X gonna do what X gonna do.
They posted that video. That video was fire.
Yeah.
So I saw it. I was like, there's no way he's catching this shit. But it was crazy. It was like it didn't seem like he sped up. Like he knew he had to dive for it. So it wasn't like he kept the same pace and just laid out for it the way X to do it. So
X wants to dive, son.
You want to hear something crazy?
Per play, like per game, he's like,
he likes it. I'm gonna dive here. They got a play they call 126 X dive, like, and it's not a run play. It's not a run play. It's X diving down the field.
Yeah.
Joe, let me ask you a question as a receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you, CB, what you alluded to earlier about James Williams. Is that why? Because I didn't. So, like I said, it was hard because he changed numbers. So it took me a second to like catch why he was running with the twos. Was that why? Because that's one of the questions we had. What the takeaway was? James Williams not starting?
No, he's fine. There was a disciplinary reason why he was with the twos.
Okay.
It was just for that day.
James.
And you know how that go. That could be being late to one meeting or something. So it's just the coaching staff holding everybody accountable, whether you're a star or you're a fourth string. You get held accountable. So it's just that. But James will be our starter.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just make sure everybody got the
most likely.
As far as we know.
Yeah.
Joe, about X diving. So people used to ask me this, like, "Hey, do you think about diving for a catch?" And I used to tell people, really, you don't until you get up and you realize, oh, I just dove for that. Like, you don't. There's nothing in your mind that goes, I'm about to dive. It's not until you get up and you like, I just stretched out for that. I've done it a few times, and I've never thought about it until I got up. It's just something that either happens or it doesn't. And when it don't happen, it's really painful because that thing dropped just a couple yards in front of you, and you're like, why didn't I dive?
And yo, I wasn't a diver, man. I didn't
I was a diver.
What bothered me and what still bothers me today about receivers are the receivers who unnecessarily leave their feet.
Like slants.
They jump and catch a ball that's right. Like, come on, son. Like, if you don't trust your hands, then you have it. Like, trust your hands, man. You know what I mean? That slows you down because you can catch the ball with your hands and keep running. When you gotta stop and jump and all that, it slows you down, man. So yeah, but the diving, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. There's definitely no thinking. Hell
no, it just happens.
No.
It just happens.
Yeah.
It's
There's no
weird
thinking on the field.
No.
Once you get the ball, there should be no thinking or whatever.
That's another thing I used to try to explain to people. Like somebody asked me at one, I was playing like Deer Park, and there was like, were you thinking to juke him? I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I woke up after the play. Like, I ran a route. The last thing I remember is running the route and going, I'm open, and then whistle. Like everything in between was, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't explain.
Just what
the only time I could think, Joe, was punt return. When I was returning, boy's head was on a swivel when I was returning. I was thinking like a monk when I was back there. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, but you're doing what you've been doing since you were 5. You know what I mean? You know, so yeah.
I want to talk to y'all about something. Receivers, cool. Hey man, I don't appreciate y'all saying that when I said Tyler Harrell's jog is faster than we run, y'all were like, it's faster than I run. I just want to bring that up live.
Like speak for yourself, son. Like you just calling everybody.
You just threw us in there.
I'm not allowing this. No, I'm not allowing. He is a young man in the prime of his life. CB drinks fucking Monster out of a can, and Joe is an unknown age that we can't disclose.
I guarantee you, I got 147 in me.
Fam, but he's not running over. Fam, he takes, first of all, Tyler Harrell, get him his credit. He's the long strider. Y'all seen the highlight.
That's 4.2.
Fam, he got from the
real 4.2.
He got from the goal line to the 35 in like 4 steps. It's the weirdest shit I ever seen in my life. Like, so I was like, how is he moving? Him, Ray kind of did the same thing, a little choppier steps, but Ray was fast as shit. Shamar, but yeah, I don't appreciate that. He's obviously faster than all of us. Like,
it may be, it's true. It's probably true, but
no, it is true.
Not for you to just put up all in the same joke.
No, but it is offensive. No.
It was like,
but it was like,
why did he disrespect my old athleticism like this?
Because it's old, son. It's a long time ago.
Hey, somebody asked the other day, what's my 40? I was like, I don't got a 40 for you. I have a 20, and then you need to multiply that times 2. I still can run. I can run a 4.5 if you just let me do the 20. And then you got to multiply that because the second 20 gonna be the bullshit. But that first 20 explosive. You understand me? They want to go hoop second 20 gonna be at work. Second 20 garbage. I'm gonna run the 20 and then multiply that. Multiply that times 2. Hold me down. Everything after that, I can be athletic for short spurts. I have no stamina. That's what it is. You lose your stamina. Like stamina gone. I can go hoop for 5 minutes. I give you 5 minutes of hard hooping. After that, sub me out.
Yeah.
And if I dunk, if you ask me to dunk, the whole day is over. Knees gone.
I make one sudden move, I'm out of here.
That's a wrap.
I'm afraid. If I just turn real quick like that, if I just do that, I don't think it's going. I don't think.
No part you realize he just fucked his back up right there. Just that little move, like my hip.
Joe just busted a hamstring. Hamstring's gone. No, they want to hoop at work. They was like, let's hoop. I was like, okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna go out there with 2 hamstrings. I cannot guarantee you 2 coming back. There is no way. There is no way.
Yo,
I'm not.
You get home and you got that 8 bandage wrap.
You gotta have a designated driver to go do sports and athletic things nowadays. Can't be out there being athletic.
Unnecessary.
It ain't happening.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it was crazy. 2 weeks away from game time, man. But yeah, fam, that shit. I looked at my phone. I was like, these disrespectful motherfuckers. It was like faster than
man.
Run.
That was it. I was offended. I was offended.
With the capital, you want capital with the U? That was so disrespectful. Son, I'm telling you, he's way faster than us. That's the other thing. Like, the team is faster.
Let me ask you then. You think him or CJ? Because you got to see him live a little bit.
CJ wasn't out there. Was CJ out?
CJ wasn't out there. Nah, CJ wasn't out there.
Was Robbie out there?
Did we get an announcement yet?
We should have.
We had somebody pop in, man. Let's bring him on the show, man. Our guy Izubee Charles, baby's back on the show.
Hey,
Izubee!
Oh yeah,
in the building.
So I'm gonna start calling you International Izubee, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
It happened.
Our guy just committed.
Cool. Tell us. All right, we putting you immediately. What do we have in KV Brassard?
Okay, we got a 6'6", 270 former tight end that moved to left tackle. That is
beautiful.
He has a size, but obviously the fine tuning and the technique and all that stuff definitely needs work. But who else would you want to send somebody to in the country rather than Mario Cristobal and Alex Murdaugh to develop a guy like that? And with that, obviously it's a 3-star. I know fans are getting tired, 3-star. But one thing that he has is size, and that's something that I really love about his film. He's big, and you can't teach big. He's big, and he's athletic, and he can move. All the other stuff can come with time, but I really do like this pickup. I know people are going to say, oh, he's just being kind of a happy-go-lucky guy saying you like another 3-star, but I really do like this 6'6", 200-something former tight end. He's very athletic, very big, so that's kind of my quick, wrap up about that.
Dope.
Yes. A lot of big programs too offering him. Florida State had an offer out for him. He had an offer out for him. He was another thing too worth mentioning. He was hurt last year, so that's why kind of his recruitment's not as big as it should be. So healthy this year, senior year. So we should really kind of see him pick up momentum on the recruiting trail. More teams start to show interest in him. And one thing that I spoke about with, some of our guys at CaneSport is, Miami's done a pretty good job of finding talent early on, like with Chris Cole. When they first offered him, kid was ranked in the 900s, like kind of no one really knew about him. And then now he's a top 60 player and almost every team in the country's after him. So Miami's doing a good job of finding these guys early and, before they blow up. So I think this is going to be that. I think this is going to be the case for this again. So really excited to see where this goes. Another commit to that 2024 class as it keeps growing and growing.
You mentioned Chris. Hold on. You mentioned Chris Cole.
Mm-hmm.
What's?
Don't break my heart, dog. The last time y'all had him on here about Jalen, y'all broke my heart. Can we not do this?
I think we're still in there, but I think it's going to be hard. I think the thing that Miami has right now is, like I said, they were one of the first teams to offer it. And when I spoke with them about, I think 3 or 4 days ago, I was like, just how important is that for you that Miami was, one of the first schools to offer you, one of the first schools to be there? He said that's huge because they've been with me throughout my whole entire recruiting process, not just coming along and, jumping in right now because I'm hot right now. Like, they like me for me, not for, what I do on the field and all this other stuff too. And that's the Rohan Marley connection. Hopefully that plays a factor in, him coming with that too. So I do like where Miami stands right now, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be between USC, Georgia, and Miami are kind of the 3 teams that I really like, because every time I interview somebody, when I mention like, hey, what schools are you, really interested in? The first school that they name is usually the school that, they really like. And the first school he named was USC, Georgia, and Miami. So I was kind of like, all right, that's kind of a telltale of what he's really looking at right now. So I do think Miami is very much still in the mix for him, but it's definitely going to take a little bit of work for that.
So I've got a question for you about our newest Cane.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So I was watching his film actually earlier today, and Joe has made it a point on this show to explain to the viewers moldable clay on the offensive line is what we need in this class, because you got the blue chippers last year. This year you need clay. It's interesting to hear he used to be a tight end because a lot of that now makes sense. But what I liked about him was he's got really strong arms. Like that first punch, when he reached out and put his hands on somebody, you can see like a young man jolt. He's got really, really strong hands, and he's quick. When they got a guy like Plaz, the idea is maybe to kick him inside and then move him back outside. Do you think we've got something like this with Xavier?
Yeah. So I feel like you mentioned, the clay, and they're getting big clay. Like I said, he's a big guy, and that's something to work with. So I feel like with him, he's not going to be a guy that comes in right away in a Francis Malco where he's starting day one at right tackle. He's going to be a guy that comes in, I think, red shirts, kind of understands the system, kind of gets in that college nutrition plan and things like that, kind of starts growing, and you see maybe by year 2, year 3, he's a big contributor for the offensive line. And you just need bodies at this point. We saw last year that when some of Miami's offensive linemen went down, it was like, all right, like who's this 5'10" guy that we're putting at center right now, or left guard or right guard? Just who are these guys? So Miami's bringing in that manpower. Miami's bringing that size. We saw them do that last cycle, 2023, with these blue chip guys and everything like that. So now we're seeing, just bringing the troops. We got the lieutenants, we got the big generals. Now let's just bring in the troops, just bring the arms, and bring in the firepower. So really like what Miami's kind of doing, just bringing in big guys at this point in every position. So I think this kid is going to be a name that we kind of not hear about the first year, kind of fly under the radar, and then second, third year he might pop up. They really compared him to Matthew McCoy, a guy that they really like this year, doing something. So they feel like this is a Matthew McCoy of the 2024 cycle.
Okay, dope. We had another commitment pop yesterday. Elias Rudolph committed to Michigan and he flipped. What can you tell us about Elias Rudolph? And I'm saying, what were you hearing in your conversations with him or anything like that? What are your impressions of Elias?
Yeah, so when he first committed to Michigan, I put it in one of our group chats. I was like, he just committed to Michigan. He still got all this Miami stuff on, which I thought was hilarious. But I just feel like it goes to show that it's never over till it's over with these recruits. Second year in a row, Cristobal goes up to Ann Arbor and takes a defensive lineman for Harbaugh. So I thought that was hilarious in that point. But when Miami first entered his recruitment, they kind of came out of nowhere and just made a big impression. Jason Taylor, because I feel like they offered him, I would say late May, later in the cycle, way later than a lot of teams did. And they kind of came in and, made an impact. So I felt like when he committed, it was like, I don't think this is over right now, because it was really between Michigan and Miami. And with him coming down and living down here for a little bit, that I feel like that helped Miami a lot. Now we don't know if he's going to go back to Cincinnati to play football or stay at Deerfield Beach, where he's currently on their roster. But I feel like Miami came in and got, a guy that they really liked. And obviously Miami's really focused on that defensive line, group this cycle, with now Artavius Jones, Marquise Lightfoot, and now Elias Rudolph. So they're finding momentum. They're building momentum with that position group and just, adding more guys. Obviously, they didn't, land the Dylan Stewarts and the Colin Simmons of the world. But, hey, I personally didn't think, we were going to get five-star defensive linemen, being realistic. Elias Rudolph, he's a big guy. He's an aggressive guy. I mean, you love those two traits from a player, big and aggressive. And I feel like Miami can, move him around and use him in different, ways on that defense. So I really do like Elias Rudolph, and I'm excited to see how he does this senior year, whether it's down here or up in Cincinnati.
Arms for days. That boy arms stupid long.
Yeah,
he got ridiculously long arms, quick too. He's got that bend that you like, and they move him inside too. If you watch his tape a little bit, they got him playing over the center here or there. So he's tough, and I think he's gonna tack on. I think he adds muscle. He adds weight when he finally gets to college. I think that frame is going to tack on quite a bit of muscle.
Joe, what you got?
So the edge, like, it seems like DN edge, we are set for like the next 10 years. And it seems like,
not yet. There's one more.
Yeah, there's one more. So where are we inside, man? What's
so yeah, the inside is a little. I mean, I wouldn't say question. We got Artavius Jones inside, but definitely inside. Miami's looking up to bulk up that interior. We still got David Stone on the board. We still got Jericho Johnson on the board. We still got Aiden Breland on the board for the 2024 class. But definitely inside is somewhere Miami's kind of thinking about, but they do have two really, really good guys, Josh Horton, and I think Ruben Bain ends up playing inside because he was playing inside during the scrimmage a little bit. He was playing outside. So I feel like at the moment, those two guys are kind of the future of Miami's interior. And Artavius Jones, like, his tape is ridiculous. So I really, really love him. I feel like when he comes into college, he's going to be a guy that really, really pops. Like, I was talking to his coach, and he was like, the kid runs a 4-something, like a 4.7, 4.8. He's moving, he dunks. He was doing backflips, doing all like all right, this is the type of guy that you want on your team. But I feel like the inside, the future inside, is going to be Artavius Jones, Ruben Bain, and Josh Horton. My apologies, I'm lost for words and I'm scrambling. But yeah, I do think Miami has to land one more guy on the inside for that D-line class to be set. I feel like if Miami brings in 5 to 6 guys on the defensive front, they'll be happy with their recruitment this cycle. But definitely a position of need right now for the Hurricanes.
Yeah. You said a name I haven't heard in a second. Jericho Johnson.
Yeah.
Say more things.
Oh, yeah, like you said, you haven't heard that name in a while for a reason. It's kind of quiet right now. He's not, doing. I wouldn't say doing much, but it's been quiet ever since. I think his last visit was in the spring, so it's kind of been a little quiet about that. But definitely, I mean, Miami's never out the picture. Those guys like to move. Pretty quiet sometimes. So he's definitely a name to kind of keep monitoring, but nothing like too crazy right now. I'd be like, I put in a prediction for him to come to Miami.
Okay. All right, man. Let me. We ran into each other yesterday at the scrimmage, man, at CaneSfest. What were some of the players that stood out to you, and what did you think about the overall scrimmage? Because it's the first time you get to watch the entire practice as fans and as press. So what was your impressions?
Mark Fletcher is that guy, man. I mean,
let's go.
Watching him and AJ Allen too, I got to give credit where it's due. I feel like that 1-2 punch is going to be like the it factor for Miami throughout the season. But I really love what I saw from the 2023 class in general. Mark Fletcher, Francis Mauigoa, Damari Brown started at cornerback alongside his brother, Jaden Wayne, Ruben Bain. All those guys really did their thing. Even, Popo, Marcellus Pulleyman, all those guys were doing their thing throughout. Bobby Washington, just the whole entire 2023 class. That was kind of one of my biggest takeaways of how well they did. And all the transfer portal players. I think six of the guys that came in through the portal started yesterday. And obviously AJ Allen didn't start, but he was 1A and 1B with Mark Fletcher as the best running back yesterday. So really, really, happy to see that, the transfer portal players are hitting. The 2023 recruits are making a big impact on the team. And obviously, Miami didn't show everything that they wanted to show yesterday because they kind of wanted to keep things real simplified and no cameras and all that hoopla. But I liked what I saw from the team. One thing that I do kind of want to address to is kind of the elephant in the room, Ja'Carri Brown. I thought he made strides during the spring and things like that. But yesterday I was kind of just like, all right, let's see if he can kind of bounce back from because it wasn't his best performance. Not saying it's, completely out the picture, he's a wash or anything. No, but I kind of want to see him, take that next step again like he did coming into the spring. And Emory Williams looked amazing like he has all fall. So seeing him for an extended period of time was also good too. But overall, I like what I saw from the team. Obviously, you can't take too much off of practice scrimmage, but from that little glimpse, I really did like what I see.
Joe, what you got? Who's about to ask something crazy?
So,
I'm about to ask something crazy.
Man.
Are we staying on the defensive line, Joe? There's someone I'm waiting for you to ask about.
On the defensive line, that's just out there.
Our boy from Cali,
Aiden.
Yeah,
it's become a little bit quiet, know. And I like that. I like when it's
sometimes quiet is good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Are you hearing anything regarding that?
So last time I spoke with him about a week or two ago, he said he's dropping his top 4 schools pretty soon. When I asked him about that, he said the comment, you just have to find out, when I drop it. So, I mean, he likes Miami. Coach Cristobal was his first offer ever when he was in 8th grade back in when he was at Oregon, his previous school. So there's a lot of history between them there. And he came down here. He really liked what he saw. But I think it's going to be a difficult one with them. I feel like I said this on one of our podcasts. You have to pay to play with these big dogs. And if you're not coming correct with the money, then it's hard with some of these guys. Not saying that's all his recruitment's about is going to be NIL. But for these big guys, you got to be willing to throw some big bread. So definitely going to be interesting to see how that one comes moving forward. And when he does drop, I feel like when he does drop that, top 4, top 5, whatever he's doing, we'll get a better indication. I do believe Miami's going to be in that final group, but it's not over until National Signing Day. So I'm not giving up or waving that white flag for any of these guys until pen hits paper on December 21st.
How much do you think how we perform on the field is going to sway some of these people?
I feel like that's the biggest thing, honestly. I was at IMG, I believe, Friday. Yeah, I was at IMG Friday for the media day. And I was, talking to Ellis Robinson, the Georgia commit that Miami's still after. And I was like, hey, what would you want to see from Miami, or what would Miami have to show you this year for you to consider that? Because he's still considering Miami even after this 5-7 season. And
He likes
we saw
Miami. Yeah,
last
he likes
year.
Miami.
He
Yeah.
loves Miami. His dad loves Miami. His whole family loves Miami. He just said, I want to see them win and improve. Obviously, the developments there. You have Coach Adai sent 2 guys to the league with DJ and Tyreek last year. 2 of it, I think 3 of his Georgia guys got drafted last year. Keely Ringo and 2 other guys. So development's there. He loves Coach Adai.
That's
he
a
loves
big deal.
Miami. It's hard to say no to Miami, but if they're not winning, then that's that big, all right, red flag that you don't want to see. But I feel like if for Ellis Robinson, for a lot of these guys, if Miami starts winning, recruiting's going to get a whole lot easier for Mario Cristobal and all those guys, because right now your pitch is, hey, we're building something, instead of, hey, we're something right now. So I feel like if Miami, I think Miami gets 9 wins this year, something like that, it'll be huge. But hold on, I might have to hop off for a little bit. I'm catching a car right now.
Okay.
You good?
Cool, man.
1 second.
Something.
Let's jump back.
That must mean. That must mean.
Something.
What's
What's
going on over there?
What's
What's going on over there?
What's going on over there? That ain't a jump off for no reason. That's a reason call right there.
Man, let me tell you something though. I love hearing that about Jericho Johnson. I absolutely love hearing.
Hadn't heard that name in a while, right?
Yeah, haven't heard that name in a second. Yeah, I haven't heard it in a little bit.
We haven't said it. We haven't said it ourselves in our group chat or anything like that in a hot minute. So
no, in a minute, and it's making me want to revisit that.
Bring it.
Yeah. Haven't really heard his name in any circles for a little bit. So it kind of made me think, maybe he was gone by the wayside, or maybe it could be that Mario is tired of offering that people come after him and be like, oh, who's that? Yeah. Like Artavius Jones, like Judd Anderson, like Cameron Pruitt. Like Mario probably tired of people going, hey, who that?
It's gonna happen.
It's hilarious that JC didn't have no visits from any Florida schools. He come down here to Miami and then all of a sudden Florida State, Florida, UCF. So maybe Mario is like,
real G's moving silence, man. Real G's moving silence.
It's gonna happen.
What
it's definitely gonna happen.
So what we looking at defensive line? So we're looking at Artavius, Marquise Lightfoot. Shout out to his All-American. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
US Army All-American. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that. That we talked to on the last show. We got who else we got? We got Artavius Jones, Marquise Lightfoot, just flipped Elias Rudolph. Fam, like when people want to get mad, those are still big moves because we've all seen Artavius Jones. We've all seen Artavius Jones. That is not 4-star. That is not 4-star.
No, he's gonna blow up. He's blowing up this year. We know it, and we know Lightfoot is on the cusp. You know what I mean? Elias, look, if we wanted these kind of players, right? So celebrate when we get them. These are the kind of players we wanted: Artavius, Rudolph, Lightfoot. So when we get them, let's not talk about what we don't get. Let's not talk about what we didn't get. Let's talk about what we did get. Look, man, they're doing pretty good on the defensive. We knew it was going to be hard, right? To try to get all these blue chippers. They didn't really go after the next tier of defensive linemen. They went out and said, cream of the crop, come down. So they were going to swing and miss on some of them. I want them to take those chances, though. You know what I'm saying? Look at the guy. They got in late on Rudolph and made a great impression. And now he's a Cane. So, look, we going to miss on some of them, but for every one you miss, you get one.
Got one. Yeah. That's still a blue
Missed
chip.
on Justin Scott. The very next day, you get Lightfoot.
Very next day. Like,
very next
straight
day.
Up.
Recruiting is boxing. You're going to take a punch, and you're going to give another punch.
Yeah. We got to start celebrating our W's the way y'all celebrate y'all L's, man.
You got
to change that mindset, fam. You got to change that mindset. Y'all quick to post a whiff tweet, but don't say shit when somebody flips from a top 2 school. You know what I'm saying? Like Michigan is a top 2 school and possibly another CFP contender. Man, y'all gotta. We were 5-7. Like, let's keep it all the way a buck. Like, we flipping that. That's what JT's doing.
Bro,
that's what Mario's doing.
What 5-7 team is in a room with Kim Murray and Franklin right now?
Not a one.
What 5-7 team had a shot at Justin Scott?
0.
What 5-7 team is on Zaquan's list? What 5-7 team was on Kevin Riley's list? They want to talk about some of the 3 stars we got. Let's talk about some of the 4s we got, though. Who Who else had a losing record that Kevin Riley was entertaining? What about Bobby Pruitt? What about Vincent Shavers?
Mm-hmm.
Give the man time. Let him work.
Yep. You know what's crazy, CB? If you would have gone to CaneSpest yesterday, you've been drinking the fuck out some Kool-Aid right now. Because like feeling that energy and being here today, man, especially after meeting him, I was like, you know what? Fuck all y'all. You know, this team's gonna rock. Like just like the
y'all
energy.
know it's always
like,
Kool-Aid in my shit. It's
So, you know what I'm saying?
Joe got to calm me down. That's why this podcast is good. Because me and Ben will drink the hell out of some Kool-Aid, and Joe's the one to tell us, hey, relax. Relax. Yeah. Hey, I'll be like, we getting everybody, and everybody we don't get, we don't need them. And Joe be like,
we don't need them no way.
I'll be like, hey, we getting him and him. Joe be like, he's not that good.
Wake me up in December.
Wake me up in December.
Wake me up in December, man.
Hey, y'all should see the group chat. I panic. They don't. I'd be like,
no, not at all.
we not getting so-and-so. Earlier, I was like, wasted opportunity. Joe was like, maybe for now.
Yep, never for now.
Yeah. You got to have that balance. So, yeah. You got to have it.
So there's where what did you see over the weekend? And you've been watching practice however many times or whatever.
Since he got back from international vacation.
International Izubee. You know, we're not going to say
shout out to my guy with a passport.
Since he was out there.
Shout out to my guy with a passport,
that
man.
He owns a small stake in. He was out there.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you see that gives you hope for a good season, a decent season? Let's say it gives you hope for 8, 9 wins this year. What do you see that gives you hope for that?
Size and speed. I feel like just general bodies are bigger, people are moving faster, and just all that good stuff. Up front is like completely different. I know we can still have two of the guys from last year coming back, and Jalen Rivers and Ines Cooper. Ines Cooper was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, offensive lineman they had last year. Matt Lee's a big boy. Javion Cohen is a big boy that moves people. Francis Malgo is a man-child. I feel like he's still growing. I feel like every time I see him, he adds another 5 pounds or another inch. And then the guys are, burners. Jacoby George, I was very impressed with Jacoby George on Saturday. Kid can move. We saw Ray has speed. We saw A.J. Allen is a lightning in a bottle. Kid almost broke, I think, 3 runs or over 50 yards. If Derek Porter didn't have a shoestring tackle, he'd have broke it for 70, 80 yards. He's lightning. Mark Fletcher moves extremely well for his size. He's a bulldozer. He's got the best of both worlds, size and speed. The DBs are moving. Markeith Williams, I love what I saw from him at safety with Cam Kitchens. I thought that was kind of odd at first, not seeing James start instead of Markeith Williams, but he kind of, showed why he's in that first team role right now. But size and speed are definitely the 2 clear-cut things that I've seen from last year's team to this year's team. And my biggest thing is I just want Tyler to stay healthy too. He looked good in Shannon Dawson's offense. He looked comfortable. He ran, I think, 2 or 3 times. He moves well. I just want him to stay healthy. And I feel like size, speed, and if Tyler Van Dyke can stay healthy and is a Tyler Van Dyke of 2 years ago and not last year, I genuinely think Miami can win 9 games this year. I think Miami can 100% win 9 games this year, maybe 10 if everything goes right. But I know I'm kind of going off topic, just running my mouth right now, but I just still feel like the Texas A&M game to me is the biggest game of the season for Miami. If they come out and show something crazy and have a great performance, that's not only going to help them confidence on the field, but off the field with recruits. Okay, Miami just beat Texas A&M, an SEC school, because how everyone's fascinated with the SEC and I want to go play ball in the SEC and this and that. Miami can come out in front of their home crowd in Hard Rock Stadium and open a can of whoop ass on Texas A&M. I think that's going to be tremendous for their football, for their recruiting, for everything. It's going to give fans hope. It's going to give players hope. It's going to just be like I can't say enough about how important I think that game is. And I feel like if they win that game and the other, I think if they start 5-0, they get things rolling, that big matchup against UNC, I feel like that's one of the losses I chalked up for them, UNC, because Drake May's amazing and it's on the road. But I feel like if they go in that contest 5-0 hot, wins against A&M, Bethune, Temple, Georgia Tech, and Miami of Ohio, then they pick up momentum from that early on and just keep it rolling throughout the season. But they do have a really, really tough stretch with Clemson, Florida State, NC State, and all those guys. But I forgot where we even started with this. Oh yeah, size and speed, and I feel like that A&M game is going to be like that the game of the season for Miami, in my opinion.
You mentioned AJ Allen right now, and I talked about it before you jumped on. What was, because you had a different vantage point than I did. You know what I'm saying? You were in the press area, so you see kind of more, you know what I'm saying, on the backside of the offense. What did you see that, like, because I didn't see the same running from Henry Parrish, right? His ability to bounce it outside, it was always instantaneous, right? Like, he made that decision quick. It was, so that vision, like, did you see it where, like, holy shit, I didn't realize he was that fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, seeing the tape and all that stuff. So that was impressive. That really stood out to me. What did you see from your vantage point?
He saw a hole and he hit it, and he just went. Like, he's a smaller guy, but he's just like, I don't know if I cuss. He's just like, fuck it, I'm gone. And then he's just busting a hole. He's like, and I just love that. I feel like he's like, because I was watching Henry Parrish. You know, I like Henry Parrish last year, but I feel like Henry didn't have as much get and as much like want to. You know, I'm going through this hole no matter who's standing in front of me and just going. Mm-hmm. AJ was just going crazy. Like, every time he touched the ball, I was like, okay, this kid might, break a tackle, bounce out, and take it to the house. It's like he was running with so much aggression and so much power, and it was controlled. It wasn't like he's like running like a chicken with his head cut off. Dude was making cuts, making the right cut, making a guy miss, hitting the hole. So he was just, if he saw a hole, he was going through it. And that left side of the offensive line with, Jalen Rivers and Javion Cohen were moving people. So I really, really like what I saw from the run game. And like I said, I feel like by the end of the year, AJ Allen and Mark Fletcher can do that 1-2 punch that kind of powers Miami's offense, set the tone on the ground. You got speed with AJ Allen, you got Mark Fletcher just bulldozing people over. I remember last year someone came up with the nickname Mark, put him on a stretcher, Fletcher.
Put him on a stretcher.
After watching him, I'm like, geez, like his second touchdown, he ran somebody over on the left sideline and just
Marquise.
I was like, this kid is
we don't got it. Come on.
Problem.
We ain't got to say no names.
I was gonna name no names.
I did. You didn't say
that's my guy.
Charles did not say it. No, but he still got little. He was there. He was in the right position.
Exactly.
But just wasn't.
Cut that.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Marquise for being there, but it's hard to bring down Mark, with a full head of steam.
Yeah, you were not stopping him.
Yeah, but I love the run game. Obviously, everyone kept, Shannon Dawson's air raid, but that run game looked pretty good in my eyes, or in my opinion. So AJ Allen was just hitting the hole, man, just hitting that hole and kind of playing with no fear, which I love to see.
Somebody DM'd me and was like, "Yo, AJ Allen looks like Mark Walton out here." Like, I was like, well, like what? It was like, nah, like
right there, Mark Walton.
I'm telling you, that's the exact DM I got. Was Yo CB AJ Allen look like Mark Walton out here? I was like, what? Because we know he's physical, right? And we know in between the tackles, that's what AJ does. If you watch some of what he did at Nebraska, in between the tackles, dynamite, finishes his runs, keeps his legs moving. But it was crazy to hear people say that even in the open field, like he got scoot and he's got a lot of juice.
Mm-hmm. All right, and the thing I love too is he has, I think, 3 or 4 years of eligibility left, so he's not going, anywhere anytime soon, which is music to my ears. I feel like that running back room with Kevin Riley coming in, with Mark, with Chris Johnson, that's just going to be like one of Miami's best position groups, I think.
And then Citizen, you know what I mean?
Citizen, yes, right. Citizen is going to be.
It's going to be ridiculous, son.
Mm-hmm. That runs.
Coach
Harris is doing this thing, man. Coach Harris is definitely doing this thing with that position group.
Yeah, Trevante Citizen, I saw him when getting the signatures. It looked like he got Legos in his back, yo. It just like, yo, why is he still wearing pads? Why is he still wearing pads? Yeah, just
he got to turn. He got to turn. He got to turn his whole.
Hey, he got one of them. Who said something?
Somebody else is
it's crazy, man.
I was glad to see him out of like the cast or whatever was on his leg, because I felt like he was in that for like almost all of last year and a lot of the spring. And I was like, is this cast ever going to come off? So seeing him walking like not as gingerly, he's kind of moving a little bit, is a great sign. And I think he's going to be a good running back for Miami when he gets healthy, because like I said, he has the size, and watching his high school tape, he was very productive. So if things come together, he can stay healthy. I think he's going to be a great addition to that running back room too.
Yep. Joy, what you got?
All right, so we are about to be September, nearing the end of August. There's a lot of recruits that probably want to get get committed before the season starts. Sometimes their schools are making them do it or whatever. I think somebody has a policy. Is it Chaminade? Somebody has
Chaminade,
like where they want you to commit before the season.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, a commit is a commit, you know, but you know. Who do you see? Who do you see pulling that trigger, man? Who do you think can be
not necessarily for Miami, right? You're just asking.
Just pulling the trigger, you know, just coming up soon before the season starts.
Well, there's a few guys with commitment dates, so obviously them, but it's hard to gauge because a lot of these kids will say one thing one day and the next day it's just like something else. But a couple names that come to mind are obviously David Stone's coming up on the 26th. Kamarion Franklin is coming up really soon. Another guy that Miami hopes to. I love Kamarion Franklin, and hopefully things go Miami's way in that one. But Zaquan Patterson might. I'm not saying he will, but he's a Chaminade guy that coaches like to have all that stuff out the way soon. He's a target for Miami, so I would say those three guys. But it's kind of hard to kind of decipher, kind of put a date on when these guys could make. Because some guys change their mind, you know. I remember last year. Ruben Bain tells me he's going to commit, you know, during the state championship game, and then 18 hours later he says, no, I'm switching. And then 18 hours later he says something else. So it's just like it's always really changing with these guys. But definitely August and September is going to heat up. And then I remember it always comes in waves, honestly. It's like, all right, you have the post-spring wave, and then it goes down. And then you have the official visit waves, and then it goes down, dead period. And then you have the August 1st where coaches can reach out, and then you see things, and then it goes down for the season a little bit. It's just waves and waves and waves. So I think this wave is going to last, I would say, until right about up to the season because when those guys start high school season, they always say, you know, I'm focused on my high school right now. I'm not really focused on recruitment. So I feel like the next 2 weeks we're going to see a couple of names come off the board and then kind of go quiet. And then during the season, when you start seeing OBs getting taken and things like that, that'll be another wave. And then obviously December is going to be hectic every single day until the 21st. So got to be a lot of recruiting coming up in the next few weeks.
Dope. CB?
So he mentioned a couple names there that the Zaquan. So there's a couple safeties still on the board for Miami. There's, you know, Zaquan, Xavier Mincy, someone that they're also interested in. How important do you think it is to get one of these top guys? You know, they didn't land Jalen Hayward, and we got probably both of our safeties going into the draft next year. How important do you think it is to get a guy like Zaquan?
Huge, because like you mentioned, depth is going to be it's going to be, you know, almost zero next year after Cam and James leave. So bringing in bodies is going to be big for Miami, that safety group, and bringing in a body like Zaquan Patterson, who's a local guy, who's a Miami guy who loves Miami, who's been around the program, who everything about Zaquan is Miami. So that'll be, I feel like, not just a win on the recruiting show, but just a win in general for Miami, keeping a local guy home from schools. I feel like Michigan is the team that's pushing the hardest for him right now. So beating out Harbaugh for another guy will be huge for Miami, and him coming in would just be, you know, another Chaminade guy. You know, they want to keep all these Chaminade guys here. They just, you know, really amped up their recruitment efforts for Cedric Bailey. So Miami's really, really pushing for that Chaminade 2024 class. And Zaquan will just be another piece of the puzzle for Miami in that 24 class, with keeping these local guys home. And obviously the two safeties that they have right now, I'm very high on Dylan Day and Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is coming off an ACL injury, so we'll see how this senior year goes. But he has, like I said, the thing I love the most about guys is size, and he can move. He's still growing, and I think we did a coach's take on him, and his former coach used to coach in the CFL, and they're like, I think he can play in the CFL right now when he's healthy. Like, the coaches at CAI love Isaiah Thomas, and Dylan Day is a guy from Baton Rouge that Lance Gidry absolutely loves, and I love what I saw from him. He's fast. He's physical. He's not the biggest safety, but he's going to stick his nose down there. But kind of going back to the question, Miami really needs body safety. I feel like safety is kind of a position where people aren't too concerned about right now because we're so talented at right now. But after this year, those guys are gone.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a position Miami's really hitting hard right now in the 24 class.
So I'm curious to see what they do with like OJ Frederick, who does play corner, but all that length looks like he could probably play safety. Ryan Mack with that versatility can, you know, plays safety as well. Honestly, my favorite defensive commit that we have so far is Dylan Day. I think he's criminally underrated. His versatility, his aggression, that dude thinks he's 6'5", 350. And you can't tell him no different.
It's a crazy size. That's crazy. 6'5", 350. That's the crazy. That's insane.
Still running a 4.3 too. Hey man, when you play football, you small all your life. You got big man dreams, all right? 6'5", 350 was always on the brain.
Izubee, man, I told these guys in the group chat that Tyler Harrell was so quick that he would beat us, like him jogging is faster than us running. And these two guys to my right here were like they're faster than you. You saw Tyler Harrell. He was jogging on that kickoff return, and it was fast.
That boy, he's got some scoot to him for sure.
Just don't put us in it. Just don't put us in it. He put us in it.
I'm saying
there was no need. We caught a stray. I woke up out of bed in the morning and caught a stray for no reason. I opened the chat to see how my brother was doing at CaneSfest. First thing I saw was basically we all slow as shit. Tyler Harrell's fast. I was like, wait. I can be fast.
Just saying Tyler Harrell's faster is what I was saying. That's faster.
It's 4.2, 4.28 or something like that, right? That
he's moving. I feel like if he puts it all together, that'll be the all right. Just run, fucking Tyler's down there somewhere. Just throw it up to him. Let him go grab it.
He said he won 1,000-yard season.
That'll be tough. But like I said, the speed, the size is there. If Miami puts it together, man, I feel like they can surprise some people. Obviously, a lot of people are like, this team is a lot of Debbie Downers. Me, I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm an opposite guy. I'm the sunshine on a rainy day. I know sometimes.
Let's go.
Matt Shadell, our guy over there, is always just like, and then I'm always like the happy guy.
Matt Shadell.
I have a lot of hope for these guys this year, man. I feel like if they put it together, like I said, if you start winning, these recruits are going to start coming more. The fans are going to start coming more. The ball's going to start rolling. Everyone in Miami is going to be happy.
So one thing that we talked about earlier in the week was like the press conferences, right? Like with the players. I know you came back this week. Like the players, like being openly accountable for their mistakes. Like Corey Flagg, publicly said it was like, I got checked by Kiko because I was drifting when I should have stayed flat or some shit like that. Like he's like, and he checked me and he told me about it. Isn't that already starting to be like a sign of like just accountability, but also like maturity in that locker room? Because why would you put out that like, I fucked up here? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you put that out? Because you had no reason to. Mm-hmm. What do you think about moments like that?
I love it. I feel like now, obviously, a lot of people always say culture. We're trying to build a culture. I feel like now you're starting to see the culture kind of take shape and kind of become its own thing, because this is the second year of Coach Cristobal. They got rid of a lot of guys that they didn't want on the team that kind of didn't fit the culture. And you're kind of seeing the guys that are sticking around that have been here last year, that were leaders last year, like, Corey Flagg, hold himself accountable, like Cam Kitchens. I feel like he did an interview with Canesville. Shout out to my guys, Canesville Street and all them. He was accountable. He said, obviously I had, my moments last year, but last year I kind of, messed up against UNC, gave up 2 touchdowns. Like, these guys are holding themselves accountable. They're not afraid to talk about their mistakes and things that they want to do. They're not afraid of talking about competition with the linebackers. All those guys know they're fighting teeth and nail for that position. And you don't see anyone kind of, obviously they're not going to say anything bad about their teammates, but you see these guys, hey, it's competition. We love competition. If I'm starting, if he started, we're going to cheer each other on, we're going to root for each other. But you just love to see those little things in the program with Mario Cristobal trying to, retool things here, because obviously I haven't been around the Miami culture for as long as you guys have watched the Hurricanes, as long as you guys, but you can kind of see, like, last year there was a few people that a little iffy, not iffy, but just didn't kind of fit what Mario Cristobal was trying to do. And now I feel like he's got his guys in, the guys are buying in, and I feel like that's going to be huge for them kind of throughout the season.
Super important.
Joe, what you got?
We really, okay.
All right, we got it. He's so subtle. We'll be right back.
Welcome to CaneSport. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSport has all latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Yeah, man. Check out the new store. Go check it out. Absolutely fire. Grand opening on the 23rd, but it's already open. Go get it. I already stopped by. They got a bunch of shit. Got a bunch of shit I didn't need, but wanted. So you already know what it is. All right, Izubee, man. You know what I'm saying? Always love chopping it up.
They don't like me to show it.
Yeah, no, it's because we don't know what snacks you're gonna bust out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the CaneSport merch. Oh yeah, no. Why would you? Okay, you're doing it anyway, though. You're doing it anyway. We talked about. Damn.
Nobody wants to see the chain.
Shout out to CaneSport.
Well, this is that's so disrespectful, fam. Don't get us canceled. Don't get us blacklisted. Don't get us blacklisted.
I'm supporting our sponsor. This is made by Dime Life, who is DJ Williams, a Miami alum. Go support CaneSport and Dime Life.
Yeah, but you know what that chain represents, though, right? Like this, you know
it represents Dime Life. It represents Dime Life.
Yeah,
Dime Life.
Okay, we'll go with that. Izubee, man, always appreciate chopping it up with you, man. It was cool running into you yesterday. I'm just gonna ignore whatever's happening down there. I'm moving right past that. Y'all see it, man. Look, we got y'all say sampling out some merch. We're gonna get some things popping with that, man. Any last words you want the people to know, man? Want the fans to know what to expect and obviously where to find you and all that, man. If they ain't supporting Izubee, y'all ain't real fans, man. How about that?
Appreciate it. Find me Twitter, Izubee Charles. I need one thing I'm lacking on. I haven't been tweeting as much, so I'm still, having that Croatia time. I'm still on vacation in my mind, but definitely I'll be putting a ton of content on my.
We didn't know it was Croatia, but okay.
Cool.
Cool. This guy's just drunk.
Right.
This
cool.
guy's
cool.
Okay, no, that's cool.
Ben made us feel terrible about not going to CaneSfest. Izubee's making me feel bad about not going to Croatia. It's fine.
But forget that that's the old me. New me's here. I'm back and better. If you want some good stuff, head to our website, CaneSport. That's where all my articles are. A lot of recruiting. I'm going to be at a lot of high schools. If you guys feel free to DM me. I know I would go to high schools. If you want me to ask somebody a question or anything like that, I'm more than willing to do that. Anyone out there, DMs are open. Izubee Charles. Just be optimistic. Be happy, guys. The season's coming. We've been talking about it, I feel like, forever now. We've been waiting for September 1st. It's right around the corner. Show up, show out, support these guys. They, as much as, people say, I'll come out and support. It really does mean the world to these guys. Just talking to them. They love the fans. They do this for you guys. They do this for themselves. So just let's show out and, show what Miami's all about. I feel like this year, I'm not being a happy-go-lucky guy, but I do feel like this year is going to be good for Miami.
You drinking the Kool-Aid, baby.
I'm wrong with that. Kool-Aid tastes good, especially when it's orange.
Kool-Aid first of all, Kool-Aid is delicious, fam. Like let's keep it a book on that one. Like
especially
we
when
were
it's
all
orange.
raised on Kool-Aid. Yeah. No. Okay. What did you just say? Hold on. Wait a second. The only Kool-Aid is red, fam. The only Kool-Aid
orange
that
from Miami, bro. Come on, man. I'm doing it. It's a pun, The Kool-Aid.
Oh, you were doing
orange.
a thing.
We drink Miami Kool-Aid. I was doing a thing. I was doing a bit.
Okay.
I was doing a bit.
It's a little bit too citrusy.
The chain ruined. The chain. Nothing's gonna land because I got the chain on. Nothing's gonna land.
No, I honestly can't even look at you, and I felt like I muted you in my mind. If I'm being honest, like I just didn't hear what you said. All right, man. We up out of here, man. It's that You Heard podcast, man. We out. Get there. Just put both hands together, Joe. Thank you.